Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Pistons edition of East Meets West, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy it's your boy Subscribe, Mike and Khan. So how you feeling today? How you feeling today, brother? How you feeling?
That's pretty good. Enjoying a Bay Area winter. So it's like raining like crazy, which is cool. However, like it stops raining after today, and it's All Star Weekend.
Yeah.
And All Star Weekend's out here in the Bay, so it's pretty
Yeah.
cool. All the people coming in town, all the the visitors, all the All Stars themselves. So you get to enjoy some good weather. It should be sunny all weekend. So
You going to any of the festivities?
I'll go to like a couple of the fan festivities, the fan events. I'm not gonna go to any like the actual game stuff, man. I mean, okay, I'll keep it real. Like,
Yeah.
All Star Weekend was originally created, back in the day, back in the 50s. It was supposed to be created as a thank you to the fans. I'm sorry,
Right.
the average fan cannot afford to go
To
to the All Star game or the All Star actual like events, man.
yeah.
Seriously, like the cheapest tickets are like thousands of dollars, man.
Yeah,
Like
that
just like to
yeah.
get in the building. I'm not paying for that.
Right.
So like, I'm sorry, this is not Vinsanity dunking. Okay, this is not Vinsanity.
Exactly.
This is not T Mac. This is not Steve Francis. I don't want to see this man. So,
Right.
well, I don't need to
Yeah,
see it
I
in
get that.
person.
I
Let's
get
put it
that.
that way. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, let's recap the Pistons trade deadline deals. We got we had KJ Martin. We also had acquired who else was it? Outside of Dennis Schroder. We got Dennis Schroder. Uh but who else was it that we had acquired that ended up going to Utah? Josh Richardson. And
Yes.
yeah, and we ended up shipping them like in the big old Jimmy Butler deal out to Utah in exchange for Dennis Schroeder because he had ended up in Utah. So just looking back at the trade, knowing that, every Piston fan, all of us, you and me included, were just looking for a backup point guard for Cade. So how do you feel about it? And ultimately, what grade do you give the trade?
So I mean, I guess I'll start out with my grade and then just kind of explain it. Like, I've actually been thinking about it for the last couple of days, and obviously we've now seen Schroeder in action for about 3 games now.
Mhm.
So I I don't think my opinion has changed too much, even though
Wow.
we've now seen him and like the chemistry he's quickly building with the team.
Yeah.
Um,
Especially
Normally
Leaf.
I'm considered a hard grader,
Mm.
so I'm gonna say I'm giving this trade deadline a B minus. A B
Okay.
minus, maybe with like B plus upside. I only say that because, like, obviously, we wouldn't record at the time. I think you and I kind of got a little bit, a little excited when we initially saw that KJ Martin was a Piston,
Yeah.
and obviously he ended up not being right. He got rerouted again, as you said,
Yeah, after what you
for Dennis
said about him,
Schroeder.
I wanted to keep him because I haven't been keeping
Yeah,
up with KJ Martin except probably 2 seasons ago, maybe. But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
oh no, that's the thing. I mean, in general, I guess the reason why I want to say is I understand what Trajan was doing. He definitely addressed an area of need, as you said, backup point guard, because we were
Yeah.
severely lacking in terms of just ball handling, playmaking, facilitating. So kudos there. Um, but with KJ, I understand that Trajan wanted to maintain as much flexibility going into the next season.
Yeah.
However, I don't think KJ Martin, even though he had guaranteed money next year, in my opinion, I don't think it would have been prohibitive in any way. Like, I don't think having his money on the books would have prevented them from doing whatever they're looking to do. I mean, it's easy to say that now, you
Right.
know, but I mean, KJ was making like what, not even like 10 mil, I mean, I think he was making like around 8 million a year for only like what, 2 more years. I don't even think all of it was guaranteed. What I'm saying is, I think both the player and his contract had a lot of value
Right.
that it could have been aggregated later, like during the summer if he's
Right.
not staying on the team. I never like for a team as young as the Pistons. I just personally don't like this idea. Like, well, no, don't get KJ Martin because we already have Bobby Clintman. Right? I don't want him to prevent minutes. Well, one, you and I are both high on Bobby Clintman,
Yeah.
but still, he is not a known commodity yet. He is a
Right.
project. You know, you can make an argument KJ is a little bit more known at this point. You could also argue he has a lot more upside to him. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, I think the competition is good, and I wouldn't want to dismiss talent just because you have, like, I'm not saying you, but like anyone, like
Yeah.
we have more of an affinity towards a drafted player, you know, like a homegrown player, right?
Yeah.
Like, to me, they're both young enough where there's a lot of upside that they could both, like, you could explore both.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not gonna. It's just I feel like based on what we saw the final deal being,
Yeah.
like there was a way to keep KJ and still obtain Schroder. Like
Right.
that was actually a very possible avenue. But
Yeah.
okay, you know, Trajan wanted to maintain again like flexibility, cap flexibility.
It
What I
would have
will
been
say
nice
again,
to have another high flyer that we could another lob threat. You know what I mean? Outside of just Duran being like that guy. But yeah.
I mean, I get it. I know Asar
No,
again, and
sorry. Yeah.
you can even like Basketball Reference when they list a player, they list it based on the most amount of time he spent playing at a given position. So for Asar, he is listed as a power forward, which is
Oh, okay.
right. He
Yeah.
is right. So again, I can understand if you think there's a little bit too much positional overlapping.
Mhm.
It's just like, no offense to Schroeder, and I'm going to get into him in a little bit, but
Yeah.
like, one, we could have had both, and two, I feel like we could have eventually flipped KJ Martin for someone even better, or like, no
Yeah.
offense to Shooter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just being a little greedy, but that's why I kind of give it a B minus. We'll see. We'll
Okay.
see.
Okay.
Um,
Do
because
you
with
think?
Schroeder,
Mhm.
he's an expiring contract.
I was just about to say that. Do you think we keep him long term?
So the benefit here is right. He would be an unrestricted free agent. The only benefit to having traded for him is now we have his full bird rights,
Right. Yeah.
which is great. Which, as we're seeing now, right in this, this new CBA with very, very limited cap space, and a lot of teams ending up being like hard capped, those
Hmm.
bird rights will come in handy. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, if this continues to be a good working relationship, like, on and off the court, it seems
Yeah.
like off the court already,
Yeah.
like he's developed a great, like rapport, like chemistry wise with the guys.
Yeah.
That's great.
And his
Uh,
observation was nice too. That we just saying that this team, the players care about each other, and it's more than basketball. You know what I mean? Like we have that camaraderie going on, and just damn near basically a brotherhood. You know what I mean? It's more than just, oh, we all play for the Pistons. It's they and looking back, at least over the last 2 seasons, when they go to events and things, a lot of them have been here, like in Michigan. They're all together. You know what I mean? So yeah, he's right. And it's crazy that he made that observation just by being here like a few days. You know what I mean? Like you
I
can
will.
sense it, you can see it.
No, I believe him. I believe him.
Yeah,
I don't think he's just trying to ingratiate himself with the fan base. But I think if you think of so you're asking now going on to actually Dennis Schroeder, the person and the player,
yeah,
I can definitely understand where that sentiment is coming from. This is a guy who has gotten traded 4 times in like less than 12 months,
yeah,
or at least he's been traded 3 times. He's been on 4 teams in less than
yeah,
3 months. I don't know if he's necessarily mad at the Warriors organization, but I think I can understand his frustration. Like, man, like, I didn't ask to be traded from Brooklyn. However, I think he knew he was always going to get traded out of Brooklyn, you
yeah.
know, but still to that, go from Brooklyn, then to, uh,
Go,
California, going to the
uh,
Bay Area, and then now back to Detroit, you're going
yeah,
across, across
and
the country a bunch of times. Um,
to Utah for 20 minutes.
Yeah, like I can understand. Oh, so good. No, technically he was traded 4 times then if you really do it transactionally. But yeah, like I
Yeah,
can understand his frustration. Um, which is why actually I think he gets along. with this Pistons team so well. Like, for example, I know you and I don't share this sentiment, but I know we talked about this a lot during the preseason. What is the perception of this team outside of Detroit? And let's be real, everyone talked about us like we're losers,
Yeah.
right? We're like the gutter of the NBA.
Mhm.
Nobody wants to be here. And we are like where everyone who's no longer wanted gets sent to. And let's be real, Malik Beasley was available because nobody wanted
Right.
to take him back,
That's
right?
true.
THJ was salary dumped here. I
Mhm.
understand where Dennis Schroeder's in my opinion, I can see why. I think there is that camaraderie, right? Where they're like, you know what? Nobody believed us in us anymore.
Mhm.
Like F that. Like, let's prove the world wrong together. Even a
Right.
guy like Cade,
Yeah.
let's be
Even
real.
Cade, because they
He
thought
was,
that he was gonna
oh,
want out, and people screaming trade Ivy, trade Stewart, trade Durant,
yeah,
trade. It's like because they're gonna leave anyway, and all of that. It's like damn, the city not horrible. They're
yeah,
downtown now. They're not sitting on sand in Auburn Hills with nothing around it but the damn freeway. Like no, it's a
yeah,
way better situation now. And then if they come here and they stay here, like Michigan has some beautiful suburbs. So I don't know what people would allude to. I mean, I guess they have Detroit synonymous with, just crime and whatnot. So especially the downtown area did used to be like that about 10, 15 years ago, but it's massively improved.
yeah,
And people that come here love it. Tobias, oh, this is my second home. Malik, oh yeah, I love Detroit. This my second home too. And like, man, people come here and they love it. Rasheed Wallace came here. He still comes here. I believe he has a house and some, laid some roots down here, and just a lot of people, man. They just have. So I don't know what they're getting at with that.
yeah,
It's just you have to experience it in order to know what this city is, what it represents, and what just the people being a part of the fan base here, like just all it's just too many elements other than being on the outside, like, oh, poverty franchise. Like, no, not really. Not really.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. I feel like, yeah, it kind of forms like this brotherhood, you know,
Hmm.
where everyone is
Yeah.
like, they're going to like have that belief in each other that maybe they didn't feel they had in their previous team. So I mean, I'm happy for Schroeder. I'm and I hope
Yeah.
he does have a successful stint in Detroit.
Do you
um
think he stays past this season? This off? Do you think he resigns this off season?
well, let's not get ahead of ourselves first.
Okay.
Let's actually talk about like, well, no, because let's actually assess. I mean, as a Warrior fan, I can at least tell you, like, right, what worked for him here in the Bay Area, what worked for the war with his Warriors tenure, what didn't work. You know,
Yeah.
um, the reason why I think it'll be a little bit more successful with you guys, or I think he will be more successful with the Pistons, is I think everybody knows he is at his best when he is, you know, just the primary facilitator out of a straight pick and roll offense,
Right.
right? If you could spread the floor with him, spread pick and roll or just high pick and roll, basically you give him shooters or you give him lob threats,
Right.
he'll cook, right?
Yeah.
His numbers haven't been super great lately, these first 3 games. I mean, okay, make no
Yeah.
mistake, but you're already beginning to see his impact, right?
Hmm.
He understands how to use, right, the true threat of like a vertical spacer like Duren.
Yeah.
He understands how to actually use the threat of like a pick and pop partner like Isaiah Stewart,
Right.
right? You could already tell, right? He's directing traffic at times, right? Telling guys
Yeah.
when to hold a screen to allow the cut first to materialize before then the secondary screen comes in. Um, Even like, kind of motioning when to tell a guy to like make that extra pass because that way, THJ or Beasley don't always have to be jacking up like a 30-footer with 2 guys in front of
In
them,
front of him, yeah. Or somebody real close on the closeout.
Yeah.
But if it's
Um,
Beasley, he's still probably gonna make it in your face anyway.
yeah, no, I mean again, that's the thing, right? But
Yeah.
don't make that your complete shot diet, right?
Right.
It can be an aspect, but don't rely on that. Because again, that's, again, over the course of a game, definitely over the course of a season, it's not sustainable, you
Right.
know. Um, so I mean, I think no, I think he definitely fits what they want to do. Knowing JB, especially his time in Cleveland, he's really good at drawing up plays, especially out of a timeout, or to start quarters.
Yeah.
So he's very good at drawing the types of plays that give you multiple options and multiple counters. And in order to do that, you definitely need the type of point guard who understands how to get to each of those counters or when, right, to go to your next read. He does that a lot better.
Right.
So now you're starting to see it, right? Like I know, right? The last two games were against the Bulls and everything, but even before that,
Yeah.
who did we play?
Still an NBA
Um,
team.
no.
Yeah. Philly,
Okay, it was Charlotte. It was
Charlotte, then
Charlotte.
Philly.
No, but I mean in the games that he's played in so
Oh,
far.
okay. Yeah.
Um, you know, like I said, what have we been lacking so much, right? Like legitimate dribble penetration, or at least lacking it when Cade sits.
Yeah, man.
And he's
Like
he's
crazy.
giving that a lot, because now
Yeah.
you're starting to see guys being able to just step into their shots. I mean, one sidestep is enough, but having to actually put the ball on the floor and then try to like restabilize yourself,
Yeah.
our guys aren't that dynamic to be able to make that type of shot, right? So just catch and shoot, and he's
Yeah.
doing that. He's doing that. Now again, it's only been small sample size. He hasn't really found his own individual offense.
Right.
If that comes around, then we're cooking. And we're cooking with hot
Yeah.
grease. It did not come around with the Warriors.
Right.
And again, we could say, well, okay, the Warriors like motion offense. It's not
Yeah.
conducive to what he does best. If he has to drive around his own teammates, right?
Yeah.
That takes
Yeah, I
away what,
mean, because that team belongs to Steph Curry. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
no, I mean, I don't think the Warriors had the personnel,
right.
right, to give him the necessary spacing to be able to, get the driving lanes, the types of angles that he's looking for. The Pistons, their role players may be one dimensional. Some of them, they may be limited, but in what they do
Yeah.
it well. And that I think is actually
A
Schroder
plus.
could benefit from that, and they'll benefit from Schroder. So
Right.
we'll see. We'll see.
What do you think about his the time that he shares on the floor with Cade? What's your observations on that? Do you think it's been opening up things a little bit more? Because it seems like
I do.
we kind of cook a little bit when they're both on the floor. Because
Yeah.
it gives us another like ball handling option where the defense really has to kind of make a decision. You know what I mean? Like, oh,
Yeah.
are we
See,
gonna
I
let
mean,
him get the
again,
ball off, or are we gonna let him get the ball off? Instead of it just being Cade. You know what I mean?
I don't want to say Schroder is better than Ivy, right? Like in terms of he's not a better player than Ivy. He's not a
Maybe
better player than
just
Ivy.
vision on the floor, like his, the facilitating aspect, and that's to be
Yeah, see,
seen
there
where
are
Ivy
aspects he's
goes.
better than. Well, I guess
Yeah,
what I'm trying to say, the reason why I bring Ivy up is because in a very small sample size, Schroeder's minutes with Cade seem to flow better than Ivy's minutes with Cade. Albeit, again, it's a very small sample size, right? Because the ball or the offense rarely stagnates. The
right,
ball rarely sticks,
right.
right? Schroeder gives up the ball. The play for him doesn't
Quick.
die. He knows
Yeah,
exactly where to go or what to do in order to get the ball back if he needs to continue getting the ball to flow.
right.
That is what's allowing Cade now to get even deeper position. And we're now seeing what happens when Cade gets deep position, right?
Hook shots
Let
like
alone the fact,
galore.
I mean, dude, the fact that he's already like switching hands midair for like a crazy dunk, right?
Right.
I'm just talking about normal layups or normal dunks, but that's what I'm saying, right? Like
Yeah.
all those things we talked about, earlier in the season. It's like, well, we do know Cade can finish,
Mm.
with authority. We do know he can get to the cup. Um, how can we increase those opportunities? Again, small sample size, but we're starting to see it, you know, because Schroder is the type of guy where, to a certain extent, the defense reacts to him more than he reacts to the defense.
Yeah.
See, so
I agree.
that benefits Cade like a lot.
Right. And that's why I wanted to ask you that, because it's like when they're both on the floor together, you kind of have to pick your poison on who you are going to let execute whatever play they're running. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just Cade anymore. You can't, like, we won't see a lot more of those 7 turnover games or 8, 9 turnovers from Cade, because especially not if he's sharing more increasing minutes with Schroder, because it'll be optional. You know what I mean? On top of having Tobias making a good extra pass, or the tertiary pass, like you mentioned long ago, like having those types of players and them being knowledgeable and having high IQ, like, yeah, we got it now. So I think he was a good acquisition, just from a veteran standpoint as well, too. You know what I mean? It's good to have more vets that are not full of ego, like, oh yeah, I got to get mine. You know what I mean? Like, he already came here, he see what it is, so he like, let me assimilate, let me mesh into this. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think he'll love it.
But going back to your initial question, or your earlier question, do I see him staying past this year? I think again, they finish out the season on a high note. His efficiency and rapport with the team continues to grow. They make a nice, postseason run, however deep they can go.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't speak for Schroder.
Yeah.
But I'd be hard pressed, like, to think of a better situation for him. Like, let's say they're willing to bring him back at, close to what he's making now. He's making about 13 million. So let's say you extend him. I don't know. I'm trying to think what his market rate would be on the open market. I don't think he's getting 13 million a year again.
Probably mid-level at this point. Unless he begins to flex with us before the season closes, you know what I mean? Like turn into another Malik Beasley or something like that. All of a sudden, suddenly he's putting up like 15 and 9 a game, or 15 and 8, especially when Cade's not on the floor and he's like racking up assists like that and being efficient and making some good big threes here and there. Like, then teams will probably look at him like, we need that. We need specifically that. Then he'll probably be able to get another 13 mil, at least 10. You know what I mean?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. That's basically the full mid-level exception. Yeah. I think that's basically his ceiling in terms of earning potential. A mid-level exception is roughly, like, I'm going to round up here, but it's like basically like 4 years, 50 million, which is what he signed.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He's on the last year deal of a mid-level exception, but I mean, it's pretty much, right? So what I'm saying is, if they were to give him something in that range, 10 to 12 or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I don't see a starting position out there for him.
I don't know.
The only way he's getting a starting job is if he goes to a bad team.
And I don't really know. Most of those teams have point guards. Like LaMelo is in Charlotte, and
no, I meant like a real bad team, like
Philadelphia.
Absolute. Like, no. I mean, they got. No, I'm being serious here. I'm being serious. Okay. Like,
I mean, they got Maxey, Brooklyn, but he's not a point guard.
Brooklyn, Brooklyn in the sense that, like, they are absolutely rebuilding. Utah. But again, even then, those are the types of teams he will only be a stopgap starter.
Yeah,
you're a starter until, like, we draft a guy, or the guy that we is ready.
Yeah. And I think Brooklyn would have kept him if they felt like he was better, just flat out better than D'Angelo Russell. You know what I mean?
No, that had nothing to do with it. Had nothing to do with it. D'Lo came way after. He came way after they traded him away to the Warriors.
Okay.
No, Brooklyn is doing what is in their best interest, right? All their expiring contracts, they're trying to maximize and get assets for, which they're doing. They did that with Dorian Finney-Smith. They did that with Schroder. Those guys don't really have any long-term future with them. So I understand why they did it.
Right.
I think at this point, that's what I'm saying. Schroder, if he wants stability that he's been longing for a while now, I mean, everybody's making fun of him. That little rainbow meme, because he's like been on like what, almost like 10 teams now or something like that. So,
Oh wow, I
he's
gotta see
worn like
that.
all the different colored jerseys.
Yeah,
Yeah. So what I'm saying is if he wants to kind of find a place that like values him, it might be Detroit,
yeah, and he could
because
be
right
like
now there really is no competition for backup point guard minutes. So, and that's
right.
even with Ivy. I'm sorry. Like Ivy's not a point guard. We've had this
No,
conversation.
he's
He's
not.
fucking not, dude.
Nah,
He's not.
nah.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
one day he'll get some of those. He'll develop that, but that's not. No point in worrying about it because he's been taking strides in what he was already doing. So
yeah.
yeah,
So we'll see. We'll see.
I think that makes sense
Uh
because I think of like Spencer Dinwiddie with Kyrie. I think of Russ with Jamal Murray, or we could say Jokic, of course. I think of just that type of thing. You know what I mean? Like those level of vets and them being suppressed to a certain level. Like, because what's the chances we see Russ outside of Denver starting somewhere? You know what I mean? Like teams aren't going to let him do it. So what's the chances that Dennis Schroeder is going to get the opportunity to do that? Like I would probably almost start Russ over Dennis Schroeder anyway, just because he's like super crazy energy. But I don't know. That's just me. That might be biased because I'm a Russ fan. But yeah, it's not many of those jobs available. I mean, unless what Memphis did
no,
get
I
rid of
mean,
Marcus Smart, didn't they? Unless he go behind Job Moran or something like that. But
yeah.
other than that, I
But
don't.
I
I
mean,
don't. But it's still
everything,
behind.
I don't really care to go down all 30 teams. The
Yeah.
point is that basically every example that you've provided, he would be a backup.
Is
And
Yeah.
that's it. That's
Exactly.
my point. So if you're a
Yeah.
backup, go to a team where you could still thrive, even as a backup. There's no shame in being
Exactly.
a backup. TJ
No.
McConnell is a great backup. Peyton
Ooh
Pritchard
wee.
is a great backup.
Yeah, they are.
Do
Yeah.
that. Be
And
that.
and they
You
do
know?
their jobs very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So um we'll see. We'll see. And again, if they do, I mean, I think the irony is that even after trading for him, I think they're learning, the Pistons, that is, we're learning more, or at least JB is learning more about his own team that I think could influence the lineups moving forward. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Actually, it's funny. Was it the Charlotte game? It was the Charlotte game. All right. Cade's named an all-star and everything. And then, oh, darn. No, it was the Philadelphia game. The Philadelphia game.
okay.
But basically, that's right.
Without
Yeah.
Cade, I
No
believe.
Cade,
Yeah. No
right?
Cade.
Ironically, named an all-star, national television, right? On
Stat out.
ESPN. He
Right.
sat out, right? Well, because the game before, that's right. Took a bad tumble in OT. So they sat him out for precautionary reasons. And JV, right? I texted
Yeah.
you this. I got excited. He said, our starting point guard is going to be Ausar Thompson.
Oh yeah.
And what did he effing do? He fucking wilded
Yeah.
out,
Yeah. He
man.
went crazy. Yeah.
Holy shit, dude. But I mean, the thing about it is, the reason why I said, right, we're learning more about it is we've kind of been bringing this up silently or like quietly, but obviously we
Yeah.
kind of temper our enthusiasm or temper our expectations because, okay, this is a guy who missed, I don't know what, the first quarter of the season and probably the last quarter of last season,
Right.
right? Due to the blood clot issues. He still has not played more than 30 minutes in a single game this season, right? And we said, you know what? Like, not only do we believe he has like star potential,
Yeah.
not only do we already believe that he's already the best defender on this team and
Yeah.
arguably one of the best in the league, but we're like, there's guys like me saying, his brother is amazing,
Yeah. Yeah. He is.
right? And
Mhm.
he's like, oh my God, like today, right? A bunch of like, media outlets. Amen Thompson. He's amazing. He can oscillate between being the power forward or the point guard.
Yeah, that's both of them.
Exactly. That's my point. Right?
Hmm.
Like people seem to have really slept on the fact that Ausar can do
Was
that too.
he just
And
missed
he can
time?
he
That's
can
it.
do it arguably better.
Yeah,
So if you want to say right now, this very second, Amen is better. Okay. I won't necessarily disagree, but if you're telling me long term who's better, or like they're probably gonna be damn near close.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you
I
know,
think so too.
I literally have both their stats up here, right?
And it's probably near identical. Maybe Alsar is getting more steals, but that's about it.
On a per 36-minute basis,
Okay.
it's fucking identical.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
fucking identical across the board, right? Which
yeah.
again, I guess the only reason why I'm saying is I think a part of this is we said this before. Why is Asar not getting as much praise or um like hype for being like this multi-positional, you know, um
Yeah.
like breakout player, right? Going back to what we
Mhm.
said at the top of the episode, is it because he's a Piston? Right? Because it's
Yeah,
true.
it is.
Right? Like, no, I mean, it's been funny because people have been asking me about this, and it's like, okay, Amen right now, and I'm gonna say all the praise he's getting, it's well deserved, but he's being
Mhm.
discussed like, oh my God, like he actually is. He's Amen's the real franchise player of the Houston Rockets. Like he is the next superstar. Like he is a future top 10 player.
Right,
But Asar is like, no, he's like this really cool glue guy, right? Like
right.
he's this fun role player. He's
I mean,
he's this energy guy,
but that's
And
because we have Cade. You know what I mean?
no,
And Houston has
no, I
Fred
don't
Van
buy that.
Vliet. You know what I mean?
I don't buy that. No, Houston has Sengun. You have Jalen Green.
I mean, like
Sengun
at
himself
the
is an
point of
all-star.
attack, though. I mean, more so at the point of closer to the point of attack. I'll put it that way. Like if
Well, I'm
Cade
not talking
was
about
over there,
defense, right?
no, I'm talking about offense too. I'm talking about offense too. Like mainly, that's the main place I'm coming from thinking of it. Like Cade, we have Cade. So what happens when Cade sits? You know what I mean? Boom, you get Asar going crazy.
See, but that's my point. That is my point, right? Like now I think, again, small sample size. It's been like 4 games, but now we're starting to see like, wait a minute, you know, I think Asar really is capable of basically doing everything that his brother is doing. And if that's the
Yeah,
case, no, this really changes the trajectory of this team, and I think you're starting to see why um Trajan Landon is doing what he's doing,
mm,
especially drafting Ron Holland, you know.
yeah,
Um, I think he values length more so than height,
yeah.
right? The length at each position,
Yes.
right? The ability to pass and play make at each position,
Hmm.
and likewise the ability to defend at each position and to defend
Right.
multiple positions, you know.
Right.
Um, because like I was saying, that opens up a number of possibilities of how you want to build out this roster, because there's
Hmm.
inevitably going to be a lot of turnover. There's inevitably going to be a lot of turnover. Like, in my
Unfortunately.
opinion, I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't get as emotionally attached to that. Like, I wish them well and everything like that. But no,
Yeah.
dude, like,
I mean, depending on who it is, like, I don't know. Let's not even go into it, but keep going. Keep going.
oh no. All I'm saying is, like, in these last couple games, what Asar is doing, not a lot of guys can do, right? Like, you can't. I mean, Amen's doing it too, but like, there's a different kind of court vision, in my opinion, between the two, right?
Yeah.
Like we've seen it before, and now we're starting to see it a little bit more as Asar's his minutes are ramping up, and
Yeah.
his comfortability on the court is also kind of becoming more evident. But there was a play, I believe with Duran, right? Like
Mm,
Asar himself gets the stop, right?
mm,
And he gets the stop, gets the rebound or whatever, gets the ball, pushes the ball in transition, right? Makes a nice bounce pass down the lane to Duran, right? But then puts himself in position to get the ball back, right? Where he
mm.
could actually alley oop, but then he also puts him in a position where he can, if he doesn't have the angle, he can dish it right back to Duran for that alley oop, which he does.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many times where he's pushing the break with the intention to become the screener, and then he makes himself available again to either finish the play, whatever, dunk, layup, jump shot, floater, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or to
Yeah.
rescreen. Um, you
And
can do so much with that.
I've been liking his
Yeah.
increased confidence around the block too. I've been liking that. What I've been seeing, just trying to. Okay, we're
Yeah,
back. We're back.
I
We had some
mean,
technical difficulties, but go for it.
oh no, you're good. Everything I caught the tail end of what you were saying, but I
Yeah.
mean, it's really interesting. I mean, I know there was I saw on social media some like, or was it maybe like on YouTube or something like that. There was like, oh, like, is this offense better
Mhm.
without Jaden Ivey? You know, um, More so in the sense that, is it better when Asar really is that secondary playmaker? Especially now that he's ready. And whoever said that, like, they got a lot of backlash for it. I understand why. Because they are, they play separate positions. They
Yeah.
play, stylistically, just completely in terms of their approach to offense. It's a lot different.
Right.
Um, but whether you agree with it or not, I think there is some merit to it. You know, because like I said, going back to what we are saying, not to just like kind of be a broken record, but
Yeah.
when the way Asar goes about things, I know people are always going to, like with Amen too, they're always going to say like, well, they need to shoot better. I don't disagree. I don't
Yeah.
disagree.
That's
I
gonna come
believe,
along.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But see, here's the thing. When you do all those other things so well, when you basically can position yourself like in every single offensive play, even though you're not necessarily like the direct, assist guy or like the shooter,
Yeah.
how well you shoot, like, your success isn't dependent on how well you shoot. Basically, like, what
True.
I'm saying is
True.
I feel like Amen and Asar are like wing versions of Giannis. Like, that is how they play the
Wow.
game. That is how they are approaching the game.
Okay.
So
Wow.
if you're
Okay.
telling me they just become league average, just like league average 3-point shooters,
Yeah.
oh my god.
I mean,
Like, you
that's still
can't stop
good.
that.
Yeah.
Like, you can't. No, dude. And like, Asar, he's got like that little like young boy smile and everything, like,
Hmm.
like,
Yeah.
so I don't
And
know, man.
again, we have Fred Vincent. So
That's what I'm saying. No,
yeah.
make no mistake. I'm not saying that he doesn't have to improve shooting. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, his offensive success does not depend on becoming like an elite 3-point shooter. If he's
Right.
just passable, oh my god. Like
And
that's at least top 25 player potential, you know?
and you know how we feel about that, just about the whole. You don't have to just be a 3-point shooter thing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's not the end all be all of winning in this game. You know what I mean? Like it's a tool, but it's not the end all be all at all. So
Yeah.
yeah, you just need timely shots at a certain time. That's
But make no
it.
mistake. Yeah. Make no mistake. Like I said, Ausar, he's still catching up. I mean, it's not necessarily a direct competition, but again, you know, he'll inevitably be compared to his brother. Right now, his brother, yes, is taking on a relatively bigger offensive workload,
Yeah.
which is kind of weird. I mean, not weird, but given that you do play with Sengun and Jalen Green, like, you know, I don't feel like you always have to, but okay, that's cool, right?
Right.
But defensively, like, yeah, right now it's close, but I mean, like, based on like the projections I'm seeing, because I look at these numbers like every day, like
Yeah.
Asar's is trending to like this is like DPOY caliber kind of stuff.
Yeah, they said he was. What is that I shared on Twitter? He's first in the. Is it D LeBron? What does they call it? He's the number one defender, point of attack defender on that scale. I forget what it is. I believe it's one of the LeBron statistics that they created. I want to say the D LeBron or something like that. But yeah, like
Yeah.
he's number one and his brother's number two. You know what I mean? And then
Oh
it's
yeah,
everybody else.
yeah.
So
But I mean, like in terms of so defensive portability, you know what portability is, right?
mhm.
Portability, right, is your ability to, you know, to have a positive success rate, right,
Mhm.
at multiple positions,
Right.
right? So in terms of defensive portability, right, your ability to have successful defensive stop or whatever, right? Successful defensive stop or turnover,
Mhm.
okay, right? Guarding multiple positions, right? So both in terms of portability, he's like in the freaking 99th percentile.
Good luck. Really?
Meaning he's seeing success defending any position.
Anybody? Yeah,
You know,
anybody. Okay. I
right?
mean,
And in
rightfully
terms of
so.
his right now, in terms of defensive turnover rate, right? How often you turn, like your rate of actually turning the other team over, he's like
Yeah.
in the 96th percentile. So if he's in a defensive speed, right, it's resulting in a turnover. Now get this, in terms of an actual stop, defined as you didn't get a steal, you didn't get a block, you just stopped him. 99th percentile.
Wow. So
Like,
we
dude,
already have an elite. We have an elite defender in year two, basically.
I mean, I feel like we kind of already felt like we did, but I mean, the numbers are now like, I mean, again, you know, when is a sample size big enough? But I mean, for his NBA body of work, like I said, it's not only kind of trending in this direction,
Yeah.
there's very little variance, meaning he's
Right.
seeing this type of defensive success rate
Across the
regularly.
board. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean,
Wow.
that was like kind of like my Asar propaganda. But one more thing I'll say too, because for people saying like, oh, they really went with Ron Holland at 5. Like, I'm not here to say Ron Holland is better than Stephon Castle. The only reason why I bring up Stephon Castle is because Stephon Castle is being talked about like the Spurs nailed
A
the pick.
lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. They nailed the pick.
Everything I listen to, they are talking about
Yeah,
him.
and make no mistake, he is great. But if I'm just talking about defense,
Yeah.
Ron, oh no, man, like
Yeah.
he is like destroying Castle in every defensive statistic, you know.
Wow.
So
And
all I'm
that.
saying is, right,
Yeah.
I mean, hey, you could disagree with Trajan's vision. I don't know if you want to right now. I mean, given our success, but what I'm saying is, given the vision he has, it seems like he has, it's playing out. You know,
Yeah.
so
We
give it
got to. I
another
mean, we
year.
got get. Yeah. I was just about to say we got to give it probably another year because I think Ausar came from Troy Weaver. He did.
Oh, he did.
And
He
that's
did.
and thank you, Troy Weaver. I don't
Yeah.
know you in Washington, but thank you, sir.
But no, that's what I'm saying. Make no mistake. You know, Troy Weaver had his type. He had his type.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know. But what I'm saying is, right, like, uh, Ron Holland had a lot of similar characteristics, as Ausar, and Trajan still went with him. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
like, hey, like Troy Weaver did a lot of things, or he could have done things a lot better, but he did some things right. It took like it. Right?
Yeah, no,
so there
he
you
did.
go.
He did.
Yeah.
He did
Yeah.
he did his job at team building because look where we are now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I agree with that. Okay. Well, nice Asar propaganda. I hope everybody takes that in the way we do and really hears your breakdown of it and goes and looks at it for themselves and realizes we have an elite defender, ladies and gentlemen. We have arguably a defensive player of the year candidate within the next 3 years for sure. Like, and it's been a while since it's been a wing player because it's been like Giannis, Rudy Gobert, and who else has won in the last? I think Giannis won twice.
The last
Gobert won a lot of the time, a few times too. Like it's been a while. It's been like 5 years.
The last non-big man to win was Marcus Smart.
Yeah, and that was like 4 or 5 years ago.
I think 4 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. I mean, then again, we just said that technically Ausar plays the 4, but what I get what you're saying. He's a wing.
He's a wing. He's not. Yeah. Especially if you look at him by size, like he's not the size of a lot of 4s. No, I mean I'm talking about bulk and everything too. You would think that a 4 or somebody playing the 4 would be a little bit more bulkier and stuff like that, but he's he's strong, but he's not all super bulky where you think he's imposing. He's gonna catch you off guard, annoy you, irritate you. Like he's not Jimmy Butler or Draymond Green size. You know what I mean? Not yet, anyway. So we'll see. We'll definitely see.
Yeah.
But
and real quick before we finish up this segment, just real quick, it has to be noted because we talked about this before, but it's only stabilized, right? The Pistons have the 4th best fourth quarter defensive field goal percentage.
Okay. And what is it?
43.7%.
And who's ahead of us? Is it right there?
Milwaukee, OKC, and Minnesota.
In that order?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But get this, right? In the paint, or actually more so in the restricted circle, right? Actually, no. Within 10 feet of the paint, so 10 feet. So just outside of the restricted circle, right?
Right.
So, basically below the free throw line, outside of the restricted circle, right?
And
so
the elbows, yeah.
Yeah, right. Number one defense. Number one defense, and then the paint. Within 10 feet of the paint. Yes. Number one. Pistons. Number one.
Wow. Okay.
This is only getting better because let me get right again. I'm not trying to drive away THJ. I'm not trying to drive away Beasley, but we play a lot of bad defenders right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we do.
The
but
more comfortable guys like Ron Holland get offensively, the more minutes they have to do what they do defensively.
Right.
So I'm going to put it out right now, right here. My bold prediction. At the end of next season, at the end of the 2025-2026 season, next season, the Pistons will have at least 2 all-defensive players.
Okay.
That's my bold prediction. Yeah.
Okay. And
I know we haven't even been close. I know. Well, again,
no, I mean,
I'm
good.
not
That's
even
cool.
the big numbers guy.
That's
I use it to kind
to.
of guide me, but like, dude, like now it's becoming very telling.
Yeah. Especially where the team is right now, and we're only getting better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. I can agree with that. You ready to jump now to the schedule?
Yeah. Okay.
We'll do it quick. Just keep a tally. Ladies and gentlemen, we just about to go through the rest of the schedule. You know how y'all say, oh, Pistons next 10. So Pistons to the end, basically. We looking at playoff positioning and at what the outlook is for the rest of the Pistons games going forward. So Pistons play the Spurs next Friday. Win or loss for you? I'm going with Dub. I think we have enough wing.
Yeah.
I think we got enough wing defense to beat them out. Like Wemby could have a big game, but just him, What
Yeah,
about
but
De'Aaron?
you can guard Wemby with a small. That's the
Exactly.
thing. You could guard him with a
Exactly.
wing.
We have enough, and
So
that's why
he
I said
negates
that
his
too.
own size advantage. So I
Hmm.
mean, I'll give it. And plus,
We have enough wing defense, and we have Isaiah Stewart.
that's what I was about to say, dude. Like
Yeah,
everybody outside of like, Pistons fandom, like they think he's like the biggest dickhead in the world. So that means he's
yeah,
doing something right.
yeah. But they want him though, surprisingly.
Exactly.
Pistons Hawks is after that. I'm going Pistons.
Yep. I agree.
Uh, Pistons Clippers. I would say that's questionable. If Kawhi is on the floor and healthy, then that may be a problem because he controls a lot of things that happen, especially with Norman Powell over there doing what he's doing right now. So, um, if Kawhi plays, I'll say we potentially lose that game just because of him. Because we haven't. When the hell have we even played Kawhi? You know what I mean? We don't know what he's capable of. So, long as he's healthy, I say the Clippers. But if not, I'm picking the Pistons again. So, but
Okay.
I'll go Clips just so people won't think that I'm just about to run us crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, Celtics Pistons is after that, February 26th. Um, Considering what the Celtics are going through right now, I think that game is open. I mean, because they're up and down. You know what I mean? Like they're
Hmm.
inconsistent, but I believe they're kind of they. I mean, I don't know. They've been doing good with good teams, but they've been showing like flaws against weaker teams. You know what I mean? I wouldn't expect them to lose to like Toronto and Sacramento like they just did. Because didn't they just lose to Sacramento? Wasn't it them? I believe so. Like
Yeah.
it's like some games that they shouldn't lose, and I'm not gonna say we're a game they shouldn't lose, but we're not one of the top 8 teams across the entire league, not yet anyway. But so I'm taking us against the Celtics. I'm taking us. Um, what's your? Did you who you pick? You picked the Pistons too for that one.
No, I'm gonna go.
You gonna go
I'm gonna go
Boston?
more conservative on these. I'm gonna go with Boston on that one.
Okay. Next game after that is Nuggets Pistons. And I'm gonna just say Nuggets because they have Jokic and he's a problem. He's 30, 20, and 17 whenever he wants to be. And that's uncontrollable because you don't know where it's coming from. Russ might have a triple double with him, or he might have 12 and 5 and 5, or damn Aaron Gordon might get off, or MPJ might drop 30 again, which is, here or there. You just don't know. Um Pistons Nets, Pistons. Um Pistons Jazz. Hopefully the Memento Kerr curse is gone, please. Heavenly Father. I'm gonna go Pistons because Laurie Markkinen is not by himself. He's not gonna do to us what he did to the Lakers. We have actual post defense. Um,
Hmm.
Pistons Clippers again. I'm gonna go Pistons that time just because. Um, Pistons Warriors now with Jimmy Butler. I'm gonna go. You said the defense within that area is top 4,
It is.
and that's
That
Jimmy's
is where
area.
that's
That's
where Jimmy
his.
lives. Yeah.
That's where he lives. Um, but then there's the threat of us having to deal with them shooting threes. And what's the kid's name over there at the big now?
Quinton Post.
Starts with a P, I believe.
Quinton Post.
Quentin Post.
Yeah.
If Steph, Quentin, Buddy, and Nit, I'm gonna go ahead and just let the Warriors have that one.
Okay.
Um,
Wow. Okay.
yeah, because if the threes get flowing, and we start to show weakness in that particular game on having to close out on everybody, and then Draymond and Jimmy can get in whenever they need to, you know what I mean? Then it's a problem. Or Steph does his little slithery thing where he gets to the cup and then kicks it out, and then it's another pass, and then Jimmy's over here, and like, no, it's too much. I don't think we're ready. We would have to play them again to know what Jimmy Butler is bringing to the team because he's doing big things right now, even though they lost yesterday. But that was just Kyrie. Um, Pistons Trailblazers. I'm going Pistons. Pistons Wizards. Pistons Wizards again. Pistons. OKC Pistons. I'm gonna go OKC actually. Um, Pistons Pelicans after that, March 17th. I'm gonna go Pistons. Pistons Heat. I'm gonna go Pistons because the Heat just aren't. Without Jimmy, they're not that big of a threat to me. And all of my Bam stuff that I've said over the last 2 years is coming true. Not to venture off from the Pistons, but Bam has only been a number two. When is he going to step into number one? And it's not going to be on that night. So I'm going Pistons. Pistons, Mavs. If AD is back by then, he's intense, showing tenacity, high energy. With the just wizardry of Kyrie, it's unpredictable right now because we only seen one game of it. You know what I mean? And they played pretty well, and Kyrie's over there doing crazy right now. They are also big like we are. Like they have multiple bigs that could defend. And if they have everybody back healthy, that's a tough game, I believe. So I'm gonna pick the Mavs, just hoping that they get healthy because I actually like the Mavs. So I'm gonna just pick them just for the hell of it.
Okay.
Pistons Pels after that. I'm gonna go Pistons, and then Pistons Spurs for the last, or what's that? That's just the March 25th game. It's more games after that. I'm gonna go Spurs that time because I think that by then De'Aaron Fox will be much more incorporated, and Chris Paul will be kind of anchoring that second unit and making some more things happen, other than what he already brings to the table. After that, we play Cleveland, and they're just damn tough, and they get on my nerves. I'm gonna go Cleveland because they're strong. They're strong. I'm not even gonna sleep on them. After that, it's Minnesota. I'm going with the Pistons. It's OKC.
Wait, I'm gonna stop you there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop you there. So because once you hit the OKC game, now you're entering the final 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
Right. That's now you're entering April. And by then, that's when you have a lot of like guys that are like you've either solidified your seeding. So, you have a lot of teams kind of resting guys. Like so I'm going to hold off on predicting. But what I will say is,
I don't know if those teams will be though. Maybe Memphis.
No, but let's predict when we get closer. What I will say though is with a handful of games left to go. So let me count here. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 games in the final weeks, the final 2 weeks of the season. Those are in April. Right. So through March. Right. So right now we have 29 wins at the All-Star break.
Yeah.
Right. After the All-Star break, you've predicted at least 13 wins to the end of March.
We hit my number.
So do the math. That's 42.
Yeah, we hit my number.
That's a winning record. That's a win. So right now we're saying our floor is 42. Let's hold off right there for now.
Okay.
Or let's just see if we get to at least 40 somewhere around that range.
Yeah.
Because at that point, dude, I mean, I think a top 6 seed, we'd have to have like a big meltdown, like to fall like way drastically out of the 6 seed. I mean, I'm not saying it's not impossible for Miami and everything, but I mean, like, if we're winning at the rate that you're saying we're capable of winning, then we should be like a solid 6, if not possibly pushing for a 5, like a 5th seed. So we'll see.
Hey, and for those that don't know, I mean, we did an episode of the predictions. Go back to the prediction episode. Just look for a September or really early October date. Like, man, I mean, I predicted it that way because I know what I've been seeing from this team. It's just Monty Williams. Thank you for what you did for us, but he did not tap into what I know this team is. So, yeah, and then I guess so we'll save that part. We'll save that April for the last final part. But for the final segment, we just gonna have some Cade observations, some Cade predictions for the All-Star game, the All-Star break. I'm gonna just say, considering Malik Beasley isn't in it for some reason, and who's about to be the 3-time winner? Is it Dame if he wins? Or
Dame? Dame.
It's Dame. It's no Steph. So I actually believe. I think K has a shot, but I mean, what? You know what I mean? Like he's not just. I haven't seen him make enough threes just all everywhere over the floor to just say, "Hey, it's gonna win." But do I want him to win? Hell yeah! But do I think he's gonna win? I don't know. You know what I mean? Dame is the favorite, of course, and
What?
then I might go with because who else is competing? It was Dame. Uh, who else they say? Did they say? No, I don't think they said Pritchard. Did they? I just heard it today too. Who the contestants were, and I forgot just that fast. But yeah, like I'm thinking, of course, Dame. He's the incumbent, and I mean, I like Cade's shot. Like I know he's catch and shoot, but is he, you know, like rhythm? Can he build a rhythm and make it? Like that's what we need to see. And if he can, then that's a good look. So yeah, and then
Um,
yeah, go ahead, go
I
ahead.
guess. Oh no, I was just gonna say. I mean, I get it. Like every year, like the league, they want guys who are actually named to the All-Star team to
Yeah,
try to participate in these events. So I
yeah,
get it. Like say, hey, Cade, right? Like you're already here. Would you like to do it?
yeah,
Honestly, I mean, obviously he's not going to do the dunk contest. I don't think this is the contest for him.
yeah.
Like
Maybe the
he, as you
skills
said,
or
he's
something.
like, to put it nicely, he's like a rhythm shooter, you know?
Yeah,
Like he either needs to step into a shot
right,
or he needs to shoot off the catch,
right.
you know? Like literally standing there and shooting off of a rack.
Off a rack. That's what I mean.
I
Like
don't
he
think
got to get
I would
rack
be
rhythm.
shocked. I would be really shocked if he does well at this. I don't
Yeah,
think he's that type of shooter.
right.
But I mean, you know, because in the years past we've seen it, especially when they need an injury replacement.
Yeah,
Like, you know, there's like that one year where like Julius Randle randomly did it, and fucking like
yeah,
missed like everything, you know.
yeah,
And then there was even that year that like KD again. See, that's the same thing. KD is a rhythm shooter, but then when he did the contest, he made like what 4 shots total or something like that. It was
yeah,
horrible, you know.
yeah.
So I don't know if Cade will be that bad, but I don't think this is his contest. But to answer to going back to what you were saying, the contestants for this year: Jalen Brunson, Cade Cunningham, Darius Garland, Tyler Hero, Buddy Hield,
Ooh,
Cam Johnson, Damian Lillard, and Norman Powell.
yeah. Nah, he's not winning. He's not winning. And then
um, my pick is actually Norman Powell. I'm gonna go with Norman Powell. I'm going
okay,
Norman Powell. You know, same
yeah,
thing, right? He's just like that type of like rhythm dude. Like he's woo, you know, like he could just
yeah,
pick up the ball and shoot. Like like the gym shooter kind of guy, right?
right.
Like, right.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna just go with Dame.
I don't know. I know the skills challenge is like this kind of duo competition this year.
Yeah,
Like for example, the Warriors have representation since obviously they're the hosting team, and
mhm,
like Draymond and Moses Moody are competing as a duo.
yeah,
I think the Magic have. I think Cleveland has one too. All I'm saying is, I wish, I wish there was the old school skills challenge where you got to go through the obstacle course,
yeah.
because I think that would have been great for Cade. Like I think that is the type of like competition
Competition.
that
Yeah,
he
that
would
he
have
needs.
been really good at, and I think it would have been really entertaining. But I don't know. They changed the format, and you know, to each their own whether or not that's actually more entertaining. But so we'll see.
Okay, and then last but not least, I'm gonna just say congratulations to Cade for making an All Star game. But I don't know that this team, unless Jaren Jackson and Evan Mobley show up to like really like, it's just crazy though because like Chuck got Nikola Jokic, Giannis, Wembanyama, Siakam, Alfred Şengün, and Carl. Why do you have that many bigs, bro?
So
Like that's
I
a
have
lot.
like my conspiracy theory is that Shaq's team is like all the old Vanguard,
Yeah, it is.
right? Like I
Yeah,
feel like they want it to be in the end the old guys versus the young guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Okay. I get why
I
you
don't
say that
know.
because
I don't know.
Kenny has the young guys. You know what I mean? He's got the young vanguard. If when you put it that way, that it makes it glaring. And then Chuck just like I'm going foreign with a taste of just you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
Jokic, Giannis, I mean SGA is what he's Canadian. I won't say just so much for him, but then Victor, Siakam, Alfred Şengün, um, and then to round it out, he has Towns, Mitchell, and Young. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
for those that don't know, Donovan Mitchell and Trey Young, Karl Anthony Towns, Donovan Mitchell, Trey Young, like that's just crazy. They're big as hell. So and have burst with their guards. So I don't know. Good luck, Cade. That's like the best I can say. Good luck. So
Yep. It'll
and
be
that's
fun.
all.
It'll be
That's
fun.
all I got.
You know,
Yeah.
hopefully, well, not hopefully, probably the first of many All-Star nods for Cade Cunningham.
Yeah.
So who knows? If all goes well, like I said, the more you win, the more your players are considered, for the All-Star game from not just the fans, but the media, the coaches, the players. So who knows, right?
Yeah.
If this year's Detroit Pistons team is like the Cinderella of the playoffs, maybe this time next year we'll have other Pistons teammates joining Cade in the All-Star game. So
I can see that.
yeah. All right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, make sure y'all follow us. The names at the bottom, you see them. Follow us on Twitter. Make sure y'all like and subscribe for sure. Like and share this with everybody. Any b-ball heads y'all know, plug them. Like, oh yeah, you need to go tap in with East Meets West. I got to get back and upload the last two to Spotify, and I'm gonna make sure I do that. And this one will be there too, or iHeartRadio, Apple, whatever you listen to your podcast through, it'll be there. So, thank y'all for y'all time. Let's go, Detroit. Let's go. Let's go. We
That's
aiming for
what's up.
42 wins. Let's see. Let's see. Let us know y'all predictions in the comments as well too, like where you see us getting to, and we'll tap in with y'all.
All right. Take care.
Take care.